Boom shakalaka, Bitcoin and crypto markets are extremely fearful right now, with the overall market down over 25% in the past month. Yesterday's video, I talked about a hidden signal no one is looking at that is called 3 major bottoms, and every other time a mild bottom for Bitcoin. But taking a look at this again and thinking about it once more, there's the possibility we may be in for a 50% price cut from here, and 3 specific reasons why. We'll get into all of that. Plus, the good news. Save it for the end. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, action-packed. Had an awesome video yesterday. You should check that one out first. Maybe I'll post to it up there. But another reason. Yes, it looks like we did find a bottom. However, there's a chance, and it might be better than good chance, that we could be in for a 50% price cut from here. Boy, do I hope I'm wrong. Before we get into it, like the video, join us on Twitter at @CryptoLove, and of course subscribe to the OG Bitcoin and Crypto YouTube channel, making videos since 2017. Now, the past month has been a bloodbath. Absolute bloodbath, down over 25%. Brutal. And if we take a look, people are extremely fearful. Today at 15, yesterday at 11, day before that, or last week 24, and then last month we were just in regular fear, not extreme fear. But I made this video yesterday because there's an interesting indicator that every time it is flagged, every one of these arrows right here was at least a local bottom, and 1, 2, 3 times it was pretty much a significant cycle bottom or pandemic type event. And if you want to go more into that, definitely watch yesterday's video. But this indicator here is none other than the Crypto Fear and Greed Index over time. Anytime it hits this 10 area, and I'll zoom out from behind my head, when it hits this 10 line right down here, it happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in history. And if we plot those over time, you get this chart right here. Now, it's very interesting because every one of these times lined up with a bottom. Every single time lined up with a bottom. Some of them were local bottoms. Some of them were cycle bottoms. So what does that tell us right now? Well, might be a local bottom. Might be a cycle bottom. That would be pretty cool. But taking a look at it some more, thinking about it some more, I saw a pattern that maybe I did not really observe when I made the video yesterday. And that is shown right here, how we have 2 bottoms, and the bottoms are going up. They're higher. Price is higher on those bottoms. And then after that, we have a lower bottom. That happened here in 2017, 2018. It also happened where we had 2 bottoms where the price went up, and then we had a lower bottom back here in 2021, 2022. Well, take a look at this. We have 2 bottoms here where the price has gone up, and then maybe we might have another one coming down to echo what happened here in 2022 and 2018. So what does that mean? And should we just base that on this one thing where it happened? Well, no, there's actually a couple other indicators where price may call for another capitulation type event, which would be really bad news for, well, anyone who's leveraged right now. And then also people who are hoping that price comes back sooner than later. The first one we did discuss yesterday, the Rodel ratio. Now, if we take a look, this is one of the few charts that actually says we are in a bear market right now. You can see this blue coloration, bear market. Now, if we take a look historically, after the blue coloration bear markets, what happens on this chart is a price cut where Bitcoin goes into oversold or green territory. Both times, price drops significantly, almost 50%, and that's pretty scary. But that's not all, because Timothy Peterson, who's probably one of the most accurate posters on Twitter, he just posted this saying the Bitcoin mempool is effectively at 0. You can see that based on this blue line down by 0. This has always signaled a multi-month major, roughly 50% plus decline in price. If we take a look from March 2018 to December 2018, price went from $8,900 to $3,600. From July 19th to March 2020, price went from $10,500 to $5,400. And from July 2021 to December 2022, price went from $32,000 to $16,200. All 3 of those times, 50% price cut echoing what we talked about here with the roto ratio, and also echoing this pattern that we saw with extreme fear while price is going up. So what does that mean for us? Is it really that scary? Is there another explanation? We will be getting into that towards the end of this video, and bear with me, it's not too much longer. But first things first, could the cycle be over? Yes, it could. But based on the pi cycle top indicator, not even close to being over. Like, not even close to close. It only is over when these lines cross. This has not happened. That would be the first cycle in history where we did not have a pi cycle top cross, and it's possible. Something called alpha decay, where signals that worked previously no longer work. That is a possibility, but based on this, it says nowhere near the top. If we take a look at the Bitcoin investor tool, this takes a look at the bottom, which is a 2-year SMA in red, and then the top, which is a 2-year SMA times 5. Well, this whole cycle, we've been hovering just above the bottom, and right now price is just almost touching this red line, which is at $81,000, almost touching it right now. Now, could it dip below? Certainly could, but you would think, at least if we do have a cycle top and we didn't all just get wicked off once again for like the third year in a row, gosh, it's super depressing. Well, you would hope that price would go up towards the top, which is right now $400,000. Also, if we take a look at the historic Bitcoin rainbow price chart, nobody pulls this out anymore, and I think they could have done a better job to get this curve more accurate towards the top and bottoms. But Bitcoin, basically a fire sale right now, even at the price with what it is. And if we take a look at CBI.info, which takes a look at, 9 different indicators of a top, we really right now are not in top territory. It's only 59% saying that we are at the top. So all of these things combined, where does that leave us? Well, here's one possible explanation. Now, Ki Young-ju, back in March this year, he said the bull cycle's over. He's expecting 6 to 12 months of bearish or sideways price action. And this is interesting because this basically echoes the Rodel ratio, where that bull cycle started back in March, or where the bear cycle started back in March. And coincidentally, he also posted something back then that said, had a picture of a bunch of people hanging on a train, and he said the bus is only going to take off once everybody gets off. And that could be what's happening. But just recently, he has changed his point of view, or at least explained what is going on. This could make sense. Let me know down in the comments if you think that this is something that makes sense. He says, this dip is just long-term holders rotating among themselves. Old Bitcoiners are selling to TradeFi players who will also hold for the long run. The reason I predicted the top early this year is that OG whales were dumping hard, but the market structure has changed. ETFs, MicroStrategy, and other new channels kept injecting fresh liquidity. On-chain inflows are still strong. This dip is basically OG whales dragging the market. Now, sovereign funds, pension funds, multi-asset funds, and corporate treasuries are building even bigger liquidity channels. The cycle theory is dead until these liquidity channels stop running. So maybe we're no longer going to have cycles anymore because these big players are buying. And as everyone is panic selling right now, we do see whales and long-term holders scooping up Bitcoin. So maybe it is somewhat alpha decay that we're seeing, but the alpha decay is not the failure of the pi cycle top. The alpha decay is the failure of the 4-year Bitcoin cycle. Ipso facto, that is my theory on things. However, you should also position yourself to endure a 50% haircut in case it comes, because guess what? The market always likes to disappoint the most people possible. And why the heck not just disappoint everybody with 50% off of Bitcoin? And when it's at $45,000, no one's going to want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So that's all for this episode. If you enjoy it, like the video, join us on Twitter at @TheCryptoLove, watch our shorts, and I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Love you. Peace.
Boom. Shakalaka.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.